Hello and welcome to Justice on Trial, the podcast where we break down iconic films through the lens of the law. I'm Alex, a professor of criminal law.
And I'm Jamie, your friendly media buff who loves analyzing film and justice. Today we're diving into The Hurricane, the 1999 biographical drama about Reuben Carter, a professional boxer wrongfully convicted of murder.
Absolutely. This is a compelling film not just for its storytelling, but for the myriad of legal themes it touches on: due process, prosecutorial misconduct, racial bias, habeas corpus, and much more.
Let's set the scene. In 1966, Reuben Hurricane Carter and John Artis were convicted of a triple homicide in Paterson, New Jersey. The film shows the arrest, trial, and the long battle to overturn Carter's conviction.
Right, and from the legal standpoint, the film provides a dramatized but impactful portrayal of miscarriage of justice. The initial trial was riddled with issues including inadmissible evidence, coerced witness testimony, and a lack of forensic evidence.
Exactly. One major legal flaw portrayed in the film is the reliance on unreliable testimony, particularly from Alfred Bellow and Arthur Dexter Bradley. These witnesses later recanted their statements.
That's a huge red flag. Recanted testimony when a witness withdraws or denies a previous statement can be grounds for post-conviction relief. In Carter's case, it was one of the many flaws that showed the conviction lacked integrity.
Let's talk about the prosecution. The film implies a clear case of prosecutorial misconduct, the deliberate suppression of exculpatory evidence. That's a fancy way of saying the prosecution withheld evidence that could have helped Carter.
And that violates the famous legal precedent from Brady v. Maryland, 1963, which requires prosecutors to disclose all evidence favorable to the defense. Failing to do so is a violation of the Brady rule, and it can lead to reversal of a conviction.
Also, let's not ignore the elephant in the room: racial discrimination. The film makes a strong case that Carter's race played a major role in his conviction. The jury was all white, and racial bias in jury selection can lead to a Batson challenge.
Good point. A Batson challenge, established under Batson v. Kentucky, 1986, allows attorneys to object to peremptory challenges that exclude jurors based on race. Although Carter's trial predated Batson, modern courts would scrutinize this kind of bias.
Fast forward to the 1980s. Carter had exhausted all his appeals in state court. Then comes the writ of habeas corpus filed in federal court.
Exactly. Habeas corpus, Latin for "you shall have the body," is a fundamental legal procedure that protects against unlawful imprisonment. Carter filed under 28 U.S.C. S. 2254, allowing federal courts to review state convictions for constitutional violations.
And that's when Judge Haddon Lee Sarakin comes into the picture. His ruling in 1985 overturned Carter's conviction, citing that it was based on an appeal to racism rather than reason.
A powerful statement. Sarakin found that the prosecution's case violated Carter's constitutional rights, specifically the Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial, and the 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law.
I love how the film highlights the role of civil society, especially the Canadian group that supported Carter. They gathered new evidence and legal support.
Absolutely. They essentially acted as a sort of innocence project, a term we use today for legal advocacy groups that work to overturn wrongful convictions. Their role involved legal research, investigation, and securing pro bono legal representation.
Let's not forget the amicus curiae brief. Was there one in real life?
In real life, I believe advocacy groups did file amicus briefs supporting Carter's habeas petition. These are friend of the court submissions by third parties to offer additional perspectives on the case.
So, what do you think the film teaches us legally?
It's a reminder of the fallibility of the justice system. Even with legal safeguards, wrongful convictions can and do happen. The film shows why checks and balances, public scrutiny, and judicial independence are crucial.
And it also reminds us of the human cost of injustice. Carter lost nearly 20 years of his life.
Indeed, he's one of the most tragic yet inspiring figures in legal history. His case is now studied in law schools as a classic example of how multiple systemic failures can converge.
And with that, we wrap up today's episode. Remember, justice is not just an ideal, it's a daily fight.
Thanks for tuning in to Justice on Trial. Until next time, stay informed and question everything.